I made up a little song on my way here today, and you're the very first people that I'm singing it for. So if I make a mistake, just make note and you can tell me later, okay? I was born in the month of Liverpool, in the city of July. The snow was raining heavily and the streets were very dry. I stepped on board a red bus to cross the Irish Sea. I asked the conductor to punch me ticket, but he punched my eye for me. I fell in love with an Englishman. He taught me an Irish dance. He lives in Tipperary, just a few miles south of France. His father was a bricklayer. He worked hard building boats. He used to steal the bricks at night to feed Biddy Mulligan's goats. The goats got sick that evening and died the night before. I think I've told you enough of lies, so I'm not going to tell you anymore. Thank you for being so kind as to clap. As you know, that was a nonsense song, and you'd have to think twice about the words that rhymed didn't always make sense. But it's a song that maybe somebody could take and adapt to your life and your name and where you grew up and make a nonsense song out of that. I grew up in Ireland, but I spent 3 wonderful years living in East Africa. And it's a hot, hot day here in Tooting, and I want to tell a hot, hot story. Once upon a time, long time ago, in the desert, the lion was walking on the hot, burning sand. Lion was looking for somewhere cool, somewhere in the shade where he could rest. On the same day, at the same time, walking about 5 paces behind Lion was another animal, not so beautiful. Its fur was a bit scruffy. It had a nervous laugh. This, you may have guessed, was Hyena. Hyena was also hot and tired and sweating and looking for somewhere cool in the shade. And up above, circling round in the sky, was a bird. Now you may guess that that bird was a vulture, and you would be right. And you may say that a vulture nowadays is not a very beautiful bird. In fact, a vulture might remind you of a very, very old, very, very bald man wearing a big dress suit that's about 3 sizes too big. But long ago, at the time of the story, vultures were not like that. Vultures had beautiful, colourful feathers and loved showing them off. Well, the vulture was also hot and tired and looking for somewhere cool to shelter. And at the same time exactly, the vulture, the lion and the hyena, they saw a cave, a big, dark, cool, beautiful cave. And each of them said, I'm going to live here. And they looked and they saw that nobody claimed it first, so they had equal right to go. And any one of them could have claimed the cave, but it was very big and there was enough room for all of them. So the lion spoke first and said, well, he said, I can see this is a very big cave, enough room for all of us. Why don't we try to live in this cave together? But, said Lion, we must be very honest with each other. We must say now, before we even attempt to spend time together in this cave, we must say if there is anything that we especially do not like, or that we do like, or that we need, or that we don't need. I, for example, said the lion, I am the king. And as the king, I demand respect. And you show me respect by never, ever, ever looking at me in the eye. You may speak to me, you may say what you wish to me, but never, ever, ever look me in the eye. Right, said Hyena. We will never look you in the eye, Lion. I'm Hyena, and I'm very nervous. I know I have this nervous laugh. I can't help it. And I know my hind legs are shorter than my front legs, and I know my fur is not very nice, but there's one thing I don't like. I don't like when people are talking about me behind my back, saying things. I hate that. It makes me really, really, really angry. Right, said Lion. We will never talk about you behind your back, Hyena. Vulture, said Vulture. Well, said Vulture, Your Majesty, I don't mind people looking at me in the eye. I don't mind people talking about me behind my back or in front of me. I love people to look at me and talk about me. What's the point in me having these beautiful, wonderful, colourful feathers if nobody admires them? In fact, if nobody comments and praises me now and then, I feel very, very bad. I need people to say nice things to me every day. Something, even a little thing, something nice. Right, said Lion. We will always remember to compliment you, Vulture. So, they agreed to live in this cave together. Do you think it worked out well? You're shaking your head. You will be surprised to hear that it worked out brilliantly. It worked out better than you could have expected. You know what? Hyena was always first up in the morning. She was wonderful at cleaning out the cave. She polished and dusted and shined. She would be the first to go to the well for the water in the morning. Vulture was a fantastic cook. Vulture would get up, put on his little apron, and there he'd be, making porridge for the lion when Lion got up, and of course he loved to be served. And this worked out beautifully. Day after day, Lion would get up and he'd sit there waiting for breakfast to be cooked, and he would say something nice to Vulture. Oh, Vulture, your feathers are looking beautiful today in the morning sunlight, how they glow. Vulture was happy. Well, time went on. And one bright, beautiful morning, Hyena had gone to the well. Vulture was making the porridge. Lion was there saying, oh, I could never have imagined how wonderful this would have worked out. Oh, Vulture, what a wonderful cook you are. And Hyena could not be a nicer person. What a nice person to live with. How efficient she is, how tidy she is. You know, her little laugh, I like it. I think it's charming. Her laugh is charming. I never noticed that her hind legs are shorter than her front legs. It doesn't matter. She can move around anyway. She gets everywhere she wants to go, etc. Are you listening to my story? Are you? What's... You are? Well, what's the lion doing?
Speaking behind her back.
Is he saying anything bad?
No.
But he is speaking behind her back, isn't he? And that was the one thing she didn't want, isn't it? And she was just coming back from the well with her buckets of water. And as she stood outside the well, she heard Lion's booming voice. Hyena this, hyena's fur, hyena's legs, hyena's laugh. Are they talking about me? They're talking about me. They're talking about me behind my back. It's the one thing I didn't want them to do. She dropped the buckets of water. She ran into the cave. She went right up to Lion. She looked at him straight in the eye. She said, you were talking about me behind my back. You were talking about me behind my back. Said the Lion, how dare you look me in the eye. Nobody looks me in the eye. Lion got furious. Lion started to storm up and down the cave. His tail stuck out. He was so angry. And he swung around to give an almighty... I can't do it by myself. Can you help me to give a big roar? Roar! And as he did so, he knocked the pot of porridge from the stove, and the porridge went flying through the air, and it landed right on top of Vulture's beautiful feathers. The boiling porridge was burning through Vulture's head. Vulture tried to remove the porridge, and as Vulture did so, removed clumps of beautiful, colourful feathers as well, until there was a big sticky mass on the floor, and Vulture's head was bald. Had he anything to show off now? Had he anything to boast about? No. So Vulture, he ran from the cave and he hid in a tree. Lion was so angry, he stormed off in a straight line, never looked back. And Hyena went and hid behind a rock. And I believe that's what they've been doing since. They're not doing the same thing at the same time in the same place. They are finding that they do things maybe in turns. Lion might come and hunt a gazelle, eat what he needs and move away. When he's gone a little way, Hyena comes out and picks what's left. If there's anything left on the bones, Vulture comes down and picks it clean. And you know, it's a bit like people sometimes. We find our place wherever we are. And when you go to a big place like a secondary school, you've got to find out who's who, what they like, what they don't like, and where you might fit in. It's worth remembering.